I haven't uploaded in 3 days! Hey everybody, what's up? Legend BTV here, back at it again with a new review. Today we're talking about the latest record from Taylor Swift called Reputation. Former country star Taylor Swift, now a pop star, pretty much just a big star in general. One of the biggest stars on the planet, pretty much the dominant woman of pop music, and she is back with this new record, and I was really not too excited for this, to be honest. Honestly, the singles from leading up to this thing were pretty bad. Look What You Made Me Do started things off in a horrible note, with one of the most flat and boring choruses I've ever heard, and it was honestly one of my worst songs of the year. So then going into this record, I really wasn't sure what to expect. We got the single Ready For It, and while it wasn't as bad, I just kind of thought, well, this is just pretty much so cookie cutter and really just cutting corners on like everything that I would like in a song. So really, it just seemed kind of flat also. So keeping up with the monotony of the songs is the track Gorgeous, that was one of the lead singles of this thing as well. And I was like, ugh, it's more flat, repetitive, boring nonsense. Also, to add insult to injury with that track, we have Taylor Swift going, like, really singing really high, gorgeous, gorgeous! But then we got a halfway decent single that was, Call It What You Want was the fourth single off of this thing, and it had kind of like almost like a style kind of resemblance. And I thought the track was like halfway decent. I thought it was like the most passable, although still sounding pretty mediocre, but it just wasn't as incomplete or bland sounding as the rest of the three singles. So if any four were on the radio, I would pick this one, to be honest. But then actually going into the record, we get a lot of surprises. Let's get in with it. So I was expecting Reputation to just flat out suck, to just be predictably terrible and just flat out boring. Well, to be honest, we don't actually get that, because I think this record is actually decent. Okay, it's not great, and I don't love it, but I did find quite a bit to enjoy here on Reputation. The songs that weren't singles were actually surprisingly solid. Cuts like Delicate, Getaway Car, and Dress, I would argue, are pretty good tunes, honestly. Especially Dress, with like a lot of the high pitchments that I mentioned I didn't care for back in Gorgeous, but that was just because a lot of the time, like, the vocal inflections Taylor Swift has on that track are just used in such an obnoxious and over-the-top way. I just feel like Taylor Swift doesn't really need to sing to that. And in my opinion, I just don't think that's the best way she sings. I feel like she's a lot better when she keeps it, like, on her lower register and doesn't really go for more of that, like, high-key screech singing. But in general, though, I found quite a bit to like I said. But the best track by far is Don't Blame Me. Honestly, I really freaking love this song. Honestly, it's actually really great, honestly. This track is actually really good, honestly. I feel like it really surprised me how good this actually was. But anyways, we actually get quite a bit more of the same old kind of about relationships and boys and stuff like that. But also we get a little bit more of a darker tone on this record, to be honest. And while you may make the comparison, oh, she's selling out, she's just putting the whole synthetic trap beats and everything, she's trying to rap and everything, she's trying to be a sellout. No, honestly, I still think her voice is very charismatic, and you can really tell when listening to these songs, oh, it's got that Taylor Swift punch, it's got that personality. Although the production, I've heard many times before, I just think some parts of this record are really good, to be honest. It is a little bit of an inconsistent record, it is a little bit of a mixed bag. But I will say that although I was not looking forward to this record, there are a few tracks that I would consider buying. My favorite tracks are Don't Blame Me, Dress, and oh, there's one more track I want to talk about. The song New Year's Day is another one of my favorites. It's got this really beautiful piano ballad. It's like this really beautiful piano with acoustic guitar kind of ballad, and is easily the least overproduced track on this record. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, they actually get to let her sing probably a song of her own, and I feel like all records kind of need a song like that. It's just not as overproduced and just a bit more laid back and easy listening, and overall, I really enjoy this track. I think Taylor sounds beautiful here, and the instrumental sounds solid. Overall, for complaints with Reputation, the singles suck. They range from either mediocre and cliche to just really unlistenable and terrible and really annoying. Honestly, the singles are by far the worst songs on here, but I will say the album does kind of lose its steam towards the end, and there are some skippable tracks that are non-singles. Tracks like King of My Heart and Dancing With My Hands Tied honestly are pretty forgettable ones. The latter with having a really bland melody, and the other having pretty much the same syndrome I would classify as Ready For It, where it sounds like it's going somewhere, then just kind of like grinds to a halt and just kind of collapses. In general, how am I feeling about Taylor Swift's Reputation? I don't hate it, honestly. I think it's an alright record. I'm not disappointed. I'm actually a little impressed, to be honest. The good moments are actually really good. The bad moments, they can be pretty tedious and boring. In general, I'm thinking a 6 out of 10. In general, like, yeah, I mean, would I say buy this? I mean, I'd say listen to it first. If you like the rest of the tracks, good for you. But in general, I think, you know, it's an okay record. It's not bad. In general, if you like my channel, subscribe. Give your rating of Reputation below. Comment, like, share the video, all that stuff. Thank you guys for watching.